A very good morning to you. Welcome back. You're now on the Entrepreneur Spotlight on the Weekend Show. I'm Tenda Chimelu, and here is the trending news in the economic sphere during the past week. Tinubu seeks 500 billion naira for palliatives. The President of the Federal Republic, Bola Tinubu, has written to the House of Representatives seeking an amendment to the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act to allow the federal government to source 500 billion naira for palliatives to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. However, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have disapproved the 500 billion naira palliatives proposal, stating that it is grossly inadequate and cannot dilute the hardships confronting the masses as a result of the fuel subsidy removal. They are, however, demanding a 300% salary increase to enable the workers to cope with the difficulties imposed by the deteriorating economic situation that came with the sudden removal of fuel subsidy. And that's it for the trending news on the economic sphere. Now, before I introduce our spotlight guests for the week, recall that last week we had Miss World Tourism Nigeria in the person of Queen Somi Madagu on the spotlight, telling us about the $500 billion pageantry industry, the insights, the experiences, and everything in between. Well, to continue on that conversation, we have two very amazing guests with us today. First of all, we have MBGN Miss World Nigeria, Queen Ada Eme on the spotlight. Good morning, Queen Ada. Welcome to the spotlight.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Also, we have Winfrey Agbelese, a pageant enthusiast and a fellow broadcaster like myself, and also the host of Wake Up Nigeria. Good morning, Winfrey, or should I say Esprit de Corps?
Good morning, Tenda. How you doing this
Welcome
morning?
to the spotlight.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'd like to start with you, Queen Ada. Can you share with us a little bit about your journey in the pageantry industry and your experience in general?
I believe that I speak for a lot of queens when I say that our journey for and love for the pageant industry started with just one woman who redefined what pageantry is for Africans, which is Abani Derego. I mean, prior to Abani's win at the Miss World pageant, pageantry had a very bad look. I mean, we are still trying to dismantle the misconceptions till this day, but it had a much more worse look than it currently is. And then she dismantled it, being the first Black female to win the Miss World pageant. And that has been such an inspiration and a wake-up call for just not just me, but a lot of young girls that she inspired. So my journey has from an inspiration from a woman just like myself, a Black woman who dared to dream and achieve the peak of her career in pageantry.
Thank you, Ada. Winfrey, I'd like to piggyback on the statement Ada just made about the controversies that surround the pageantry industry, the misconceptions, which brings me to my next questions, because pageants can be seen as presenting harmful body standards and can be also seen as controversial due to their focus on the female appearance. So what would you say to those who argue that pageantry is too quote unquote immoral?
Okay, so now this is what I would say. You know how they say, train a woman, you train a nation, right? Give a woman an opportunity, you give a nation an opportunity. And I feel a whole lot of that literally lies on the responsibility that the pageant industry has. And this is the sense I look at it as it is normal, right? In a situation where you have women, not just any type of women, beautiful, brilliant, well-spoken women, the men will follow. So now, would you say because of the tendencies of some people, we will now like take away the impact and the imports of the pageant industry? I don't think so. Now, this is why I'm saying that. So now, when I started off in 2012 officially in the pageant industry, what happened to me was that I transformed. I will never have been able to stand on a live stage and address any back then in school, I literally could not address my class. Now, being a pageant girl has literally brought me to a point where I not only address a group of people, but I can literally stand anywhere in front of any camera and address like thousands of people. Now, that is an added strength because of my pageant training. Now, pageantry literally works on you physically, mentally, emotionally, and a whole lot of other ways, right? So, the immorality of it all is basically implied. However, if we keep on grooming the ladies in this pageantry, on this pageant stage, to know what good and bad is in the sense of understanding their personalities, understanding their sexualities, knowing when to play in what field, they will be able to make conscious, positive decisions not to go the immoral way. So now we will not cut away the advantages because of mere threats of disadvantages, is what I like to say regarding that.
Thank you, Winfrey. Now, Queen Ada, I'd like to redirect the same question to you, seeing as you will be representing Nigeria in the Miss World contest coming up in December in India. So I'd like to know your take on the same question, that those that view pageantry as a way to sexualize women and a very, very controversial industry. So what's your take on that?
So I think this also is a spin-off of what I have said about the misconceptions people have about pageantry and how Abani Derego was able to pull that down those structures in with just one win. So I believe that every industry, no matter the industry it is at all, be it politics, law, wherever, entertainment has the negative side, and then they have like the sides that, of course, you see and you're like, you take a pause. But then judging an entire industry, that's the pageant industry, based off of the 1% that do immoral things, or and of course basically do immoral things or do things that are not up to status quo, then I think that we have failed in spreading out the awareness and information of what pageantry truly is. Because you cannot talk about pageants and the first thing that comes up to your mind is the negative, because we are doing so much more. The pageant industry, not just in Nigeria, but across the world, has been able to raise women who have a voice. And just like Winfrey said that you may use the way pageantry takes a girl or a lady that is not normally good at public speaking and transforms her. And I've seen this with the amount of work that young girls put into just to win the crown, because you can't just be a beautiful face. In order to be a beauty queen, you have to be able to stand the crowd, you have to be able to talk in a crowd, you have to be smart, you have to be able to think on your feet. And all these things are skills that we acquire over time because of the importance of the role and because of the importance of pageantry. So I would always say that yes, every industry has the negative, but I believe that pageantry is doing so much more than what people are talking about. The immoral is doing so much more than the bad side, is doing so much more than the downside. And I think that is where we play a role as beauty queens, to enlighten people and make people aware of the good, that the good outweighs the bad so much more.
Response. Now, Winfrey, I'd like to ask you about your take on, quite recently actually, a transgender woman was crowned Miss Netherlands. That's actually some days back, and she's going to be representing the Netherlands internationally in international pageants. So generally, what is your take on transgender women getting involved and winning pageants, and not just pageants, but women's sports as a whole?
Tender, you're trying to set me up, but it's all right. It's fine. Okay, so now this is what I'm going to say about that. Change is something that is constant in life, right? The day changes. After every 24 hours, we have a new day. After every 7 days, we have a new week. After every 30, you know how the story goes. So now this is what I would say. Despite the fact that everybody is literally entitled to have dreams, dream big, and do everything that they want to do, as long as it's what their person, what they believe as a person literally makes them who they are. I don't have a problem with that. Everybody's entitled to their choices in life. However, I will say this, right? So now, when people are born, right, they have certain genes, right? And I would say the whole situation of transgender, I will not necessarily talk personally on that because I haven't been there. I haven't experienced it. I do not know what they're going through and all of that. However, I'll say that now having this people participate in pageants generally that are or were designed for women, and of course, and participate in sports as well, designed for women. I would think that it is not it's I wouldn't say it's a fair trial because I believe that their genes also are more enhanced than the female genes, right? Because generally we know that physically men are stronger, men are faster than women in most cases, right? So I'll just say, because for instance, now in pageantry, we also have the sporting category, and it's a no-brainer that most times we have these people and win in those categories as well. So I'll say, as much as yes, we're embracing inclusivity and people going after their dreams, I'll say certain considerations should be taken in this regard. Now, if it's possible that we have transgender pageants separate from the normal ones, maybe that will be a way to go. But so yeah, that's basically what I'll say concerning this conversation.
Can you also tell us about the Pageant Academy Conference coming up next month? Can you tell us more about that?
Okay. So the pageants conference coming up on the 12th of August is happening right here in Lagos. It's basically a fusion of the entire pageant industry. Now, I like to say the entire pageant industry. That doesn't mean I'll have every pageant organizer, every pageant participant, or every pageant queen on the one roof. But then again, we'll have a representation of at least the pageant organizers, the pageant girls, the pageant aspirants, and pageant coaches, vendors, and all of that. So now it's happening on the 12th, as I said earlier, right here in Lagos. We are literally going to have pageant organizers talk to us about their pageant experiences, putting pageants together, what it really takes to be their queen. Also, enlighten us more about their own pageants and the type of girls they want signing up for their pageants and what those girls have to do to literally make the crown. Then, of course, we're going to also be having the pageants queens established, like Ada herself. Ada will be there. Ada, you'll be there. And then we're having other queens as well talk to us and share with us their pageant journeys so far. The idea to that is also to help girls clarify and understand that, okay, we're not just here as beauty queens, as a symbol
It's a whole
of
industry.
physical
It's a
beauty,
$5
but
billion
also
industry, so
as
there's
a
always
symbol
more
of
to
woman
it.
empowerment.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank
So
you
we're going
so
to be having that.
much.
We're also going to be having pageant coaches, pageant vendors. Yes, okay, yes, and coming together.
We're
Thank you.
really looking forward to it. It's going to be holding in Lagos. Am I right?
Thank you. Yes, in Lagos. Yeah.
From you for young individuals watching you right now who also aspire to be beauty queens just like yourself. What words of advice do you have for them?
So this
I'm
question is
sorry, can
for
you come again? Is
me.
that for me?
Yes, Queen Ada, the question is for
Okay,
you,
yes,
please.
okay.
Okay, so you said advice to young people who are aspiring to be beauty queens.
Exactly.
Well, my advice would always be the same. That is, go for your dream. And I guess I would speak to the young people, not just people that aspire to be beauty queens. Whatever it is that your dream is, whatever your goal is, go unapologetically hard for it, be consistent for it, because I'm a product of consistency. I always say it, I'm a product of growth, because there's this beautiful growth that happens when you're consistent with something that you're pursuing and something that you have interest in. You just see yourself slowly feeling into that role better, becoming the best version of that role, becoming undeniably good that nobody can dismiss you. So my advice would always be consistent, chase your goal unapologetically, and I would see you at the top.
Thank you so much, Queen Ada. Wish you best of luck in the Miss World contest in India this December. We'll be rooting for you all the way from here. Thank you so much, Winfrey, for joining us. We hope to see more of you on subsequent episodes of the Entrepreneur Spotlight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, it's a wrap on the Entrepreneur Spotlight on the Weekend Show. We just had Miss Winfrey Agbelese of Wake Up Nigeria and MBGN herself, Miss World Nigeria, Queen Ada Ame, telling us about the pageantry industry and everything in between. Well, I'll be signing out right now. Don't forget to follow me at Tenderly on Instagram. And stay tuned. We have I Should Be standing by with the entertainment segment on the Weekend Show. I'm Tender Chimelu. Have a great weekend.